So last night, I witnessed the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson fight, and it was tough. It was really tough, man. Tyson had a strong start, man. He was throwing. At one point, he was gonna win the fight because of how he was, throwing and landing punches. But unfortunately, his age caught up with him, and he got tired. And Paul, being the scaredy cat that he is, was running away from Tyson the entire time. And I think the fight is bullshit. I've been waiting for this fight ever since it was first announced. And when it got delayed, I was like, okay, maybe we have more time for Tyson to get ready. And he talked so much shit, and I was like, oh, I'm ready for old Mike to come back. And you know what happened? Not even the Mike we saw in the exhibition match 4 years ago came back. Not even that. And he wasn't that good in the exhibition, but he still threw and landed hits. And that's only a 4-year gap. This fight was ridiculous. Jake Paul should be ashamed of himself. If Tyson kept up with what he was doing, that entire fight, Tyson would have killed Jake Paul. It would have been over for Jake Paul. But he didn't. But that's unfortunately probably a lot of people thought Tyson would lose because of his age. I was not one of those people because Tyson looked great on the pads. He looked great. And he was talking like, I'm gonna knock this guy out. And he didn't even barely land a hit on Jake. Now, obviously, y'all know why. Jake's a freaking scaredy cat. He was running away from Tyson because truth is, if Tyson landed a hit on Jake, it would have been over. But I'm just sick of Jake Paul thinking he's the hot shit, thinking that he deserves this victory when he doesn't. He didn't work for it. He ran away. If he stayed in the middle with Tyson and actually fought him and he won, then I would have respect for Jake. But he ran away he ran away. He was running throughout that entire thing, throughout that entire match. He never once met Tyson in the middle like Jake Paul said he was gonna do. Because truth is, if he did meet Tyson in the middle, Tyson would have knocked Jake Paul out. Jake Paul is arguably the worst fighter no matter what he does because he doesn't want to get in there. He doesn't want to fight Mike Tyson. If Jake Paul wasn't running around like a little baby, Mike Tyson would have ended Jake Paul. And I wanted to see that more than anybody. But unfortunately, he didn't deliver. I was hoping all this smack talk from Tyson would at least pay off a little bit. But nothing paid off about all that smack talk. He was telling everybody he was going to knock out Jake Paul or put Jake Paul through hell. And he barely even threw a punch. You could tell he was tired after round 1 because his technique was awful. And that just pains me to say. In the first round, if you're old, you don't waste all your energy. You learn your opponent's technique. Then later in the round, you go for it. You learn their technique those first few rounds, then you go on the offense. And let me just say, Tyson's defense was beautiful. He was dodging punches left and right, except a lot landed. Enough for Jake Paul to win by anonymous decision. And it was honestly ridiculous, man, the entire thing. This should have never happened. It's a shame that it did. Jake Paul should be ashamed of himself. Ultimately, I don't think Tyson proved anything. He didn't prove that he could go the distance. He didn't prove anything other than I could stand around and take a beating. And I hate disrespecting Tyson. I love him more than anything. He's my favorite boxer, but he could have did more. I feel like Mike's coaches, each and every downtime for the round, was telling him what he needed to do, and he didn't listen to them like he should have. If he listened, Tyson would have knocked him out, but he was just zoned out. He should have listened. He should have, because he would have won the fight, because Jake Paul has terrible technique and he runs around like a little baby. If he just did what he said he'd do, meet in the middle with Tyson would have ended him. But no, he had to run around so he could tire out the old man. And honestly, what I have to say to that is, why did Tyson follow? Somebody has to win. So Paul would have no choice but to throw. And when he does, Mike could take advantage of that. But Mike himself went in there, wasted all his energy when he should have stayed back, stayed still, waited for Paul to come, because eventually he would have to. And when that happens, he could have knocked out Jake Paul and won the fight. But unfortunately, he didn't. He didn't prove anything at all. He proved that he could stand around and not do what he said he would do. That's exactly what Tyson did. Honestly, I don't want to be disrespecting Mike Tyson, but he should have never been in this in the first place. You're 58 and you think you're the hot shot? Prove it. And Tyson didn't. He did not prove anything other than I talked all this smack just to get my ass kicked. I was probably always expecting Jake to win, but I did not expect Tyson to freaking hold his punches the entire freaking second half of that fight. Tyson wasted all his energy in that first round when he shouldn't have. He should have stayed still, maybe threw a few jabs, few crosses. That's it. Learn his opponent's moves, the way he moves, the way he bobs his head, his punching style, where he goes, and learn throughout those 8 rounds so that way he could find an opening and knock Jake Paul out. But he did not do that. He had the worst technique I've ever seen in his career. And same with Paul. Paul was just running away. That's all he was doing. He was running away. This fight was ridiculous. Tyson definitely should have won, but when you're fighting a baby who is afraid of you, then it's hard. But yeah, that's just my opinion of this ridiculous fight. I know I talk about movies and movie reviews, but what happened last night was ridiculous, and I felt like I needed to talk about it. Bye, guys.